Yeah. Welcome to the Oscar Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Arts Bar Podcast. Wilson has found a pen. You see us in Studio 3, which is the top floor of Arts Bar Hope Street. It is where big dance classes take part, and our sort of event space, so where people put on small theatre productions, gigs, things like that. The narrative's up here, isn't it?
Yeah, we love Studio 3. It's a work in progress, I think that's fair to say. We've got lots of plans.
It's a working man's club.
It is a working man's club. You'll be able to see the reflection of the bar in the mirror.
Yeah.
And it is very old school.
It is.
But it's a lovely floor.
It's good fun. We're up here. It's the room where someone has been practicing ballroom dance.
Are we allowed to say anything?
I think someone
Yeah.
has been practicing ballroom dance. I've had a lot of messages saying, I recognise that room.
So it may or may not have been on television recently.
Yeah, so someone has been practicing ballroom dance in here. And their name's Ben Cosgrove. And I think he might be coming in the next few minutes to practice dance.
So we've kind of stole his studio.
We have, haven't we?
And we're waiting for any minute now he's going to walk in and kick off. So we're just going to act natural.
I'd love... So if Ben comes in here now and he's got a dance class on, we've got to stay. And you will get a little view in the background of Ben in his tux.
I can't wait till they see what Ben's really like. Because normally he's like the
horrible
nice
to
guy.
us. Honestly, he's horrible. The way he speaks to us is horrible. No cappuccino this week for me.
And no strange drink because we've pushed for time. So we've raided our own fridge.
We've jumped into our own stock in the bar up here, and we're having a bottle of beer.
Delicious.
Very nice.
Delicious.
How are you? Are you all right?
I'm all right, mate. I've had a mental day today.
You've been back-to-back meetings?
Yeah, it's all been really good stuff. It's been people that want to come and run some events. It's been technicians that want jobs. It's been people that want to look at studios. It's been musicians that want to kind of work with other musicians. It's been a projector for our first night of the first quiz that we're doing back.
Cool.
It's been all sorts.
Yeah, you have had a busy day.
Yeah, it's been good.
And he's had a chop.
And I went for a quick trim.
Looks good, doesn't he? Looks fresh.
How many people is it acceptable in a barber's to walk in, realise there's a certain amount of people, and walk out again?
How many people before you?
Yeah, so...
And how many barbers are there?
Today there were one.
Right, okay. So if there's one barber,
Yeah,
and I walk in, and there's more than 3 people, I'd go.
I agree. There were 1 in chair, 2 sitting down,
Right.
so I stayed.
Okay.
But if there were 1 in chair, 3 sitting down,
You'd have gone.
I'd have gone.
Probably, yeah. Probably that's what I'd do. Your barbers as well, though, is quite quick.
Yeah.
It's like...
Because I get my beard done, though.
Oh,
it takes
right.
longer for me, not necessarily...
No, I don't
everyone
mean
else.
like your haircut's quick. I mean like people going to that barber's are going for skin fades.
I don't go to that one anymore.
You go to one up by Myrtle Street Tesco, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant...
I don't mean Goldfingers.
I did like Goldfingers. I don't know why.
Goldfingers.
The guy now, he's only just set up, new business, slightly off the beaten track.
All about that.
I've just got a bit of like... I've got a bit of...
Love it.
Get
I'm glad that he's busy on a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, busy.
Thursday afternoon, he's banging out the haircuts. There's 2 waiting. There's 1 in the chair, and you're the 3rd one in.
Lovely fella.
Love it.
How are you?
I'm all right, mate, yeah. Another busy week. 1 week closer to a kitchen opening, hopefully.
I've just taken out some double glazing.
You have just got a window. Add that to your CV.
Do you know how easy it is?
No.
It's well easy. You just pop out.
I was sat on my laptop and JB's come in and said, can I borrow one of yours? And he ended up taking Wilson and he took a window out.
Yeah, we're easy, really.
I don't know how he knew how to do it.
I YouTubed it the other day.
Oh, so you knew how to do it and you showed him?
There's a guy, this Polish lad's got a channel showing you all sorts of stuff.
So you project managed in there then, yeah?
Yeah.
Unreal.
But I used his new screwdrivers that he bought. So episode 1, I think we discussed him
He's
buying
never bought a tool.
Never bought a tool. I was going,
Now he's got a set of electrical safety screwdrivers, the red and yellow ones, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they are good. But I was saying to you earlier, these are great. Who's left these by accident? Who we pinched these off? And you went, JB's bought them. It's just not quite as sweet, is it, that someone's not left them by accident? Sorry, how are you?
Yeah, sound, yeah. Busy week.
What did we do last night? That's good.
Yeah, it was really good, that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
We've
it
both
was.
sent him a private message as well, haven't we? So we went to the theatre last night to watch Girls Don't Play Guitars at the Royal Court Theatre. It's the second time it's ran. I think it's on next week as well, so people, if you're listening, go and see it. It was brilliant.
It's a good night out. Like it's.
Our good mate Ian Salmon, he's a patron of the bars. He's always in having a drink on a night out and stuff like that. He's grafted for years, hasn't he, in the sort of writing scene. And it's his show. He's wrote it. It's about the Liver Birds. That is the first all-female beat group in the world, and their story, their history of them. And two of them got up last night and played, didn't they?
Yeah.
To the original band.
They had a similar journey to the Beatles early doors, didn't they? They went to Hamburg and did the scene over there. Kind of met all the same people. The best story that I'd forgotten from the first time we saw it, that You Really Got Me by the Kinks. Da 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 da. That's filmed with their instruments. Recorded with their instruments because
so they lost their guitars.
That's a good little story.
Yeah, honestly, it's an amazing show. It was really heartwarming to see a mate's show done so well. I sent him a message today and said, from a theatre point of view, I really liked how fast paced it was, and it was like it was almost like life doesn't hang around. Like this thing happened, and then the story moved on, and it wasn't like it didn't dwell and wait around and be like, oh, but what about this and what about that? It was like, no, that's not how life works. Like we're telling the story of their journey, and it was literally like, and there's big moments that come in their lives and decisions and stuff, but they don't dwell on it. It just goes like, this thing happened, next thing. This thing happened, next thing. I loved how fast paced it was.
And the music's quality, it's all that kind of 60s skiffle into beat stuff, and loads of covers of tunes that you'll know. A couple of their originals that have been stuck in my head all day, that Peanut Butter.
Yeah.
I like peanut butter.
Yeah.
It was amazing. The first time we saw it was amazing, but we were sat up in the gods, and this time we were lucky enough to get the VIP Elvis style seats.
Sat in the stalls in downstairs in the Royal Court, and it is the best theatre experience in the city, I think.
It were quality.
It's great, that table, like you get in early, you have a drink, you sit and chat away, and then the music starts or the show starts, and you turn around and it's go time. But it was so good, wasn't it? It put you in such a good vibe for the show.
We missed the cut off for interval onion rings.
Interval onion rings,
yeah,
and sticky toffee pudding that Ben wanted. So
good.
It did. But it was unreal. Really good experience. The theatre was amazing. It was great to see so many faces we knew.
I know your granddad definitely thinks we're gangsters, by the way.
We went to the theatre and it was literally like every row we knew someone, all the staff that were there, people behind the bar, people like at the bar having a drink. We knew everyone there, and my granddad was like, how do you know everyone?
Great story of an artist that's done an exhibition with us before.
Jamie Yates.
Yeah, had his daughter there with him, and they were sat in one of the booths at the back, and he kind of said the first time they'd seen it, his daughter was quite young, and she'd been so kind of obsessed with it and loved that, because
girls can play guitar.
The empowering thing about it is how amazing their story is, especially in the 60s. Yeah. That they did all that stuff. I think it must have opened her eyes. And then the two ladies who were in the Liver Birds had said to Jamie and his daughter, well, this time round, do you want to come as our guest and sit with us?
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing. So we saw them all chatting away.
Nice touch, wasn't it? Sitting in the booth at the back.
It was great.
It was great. Lovely, like I said, to see so many familiar faces. Really good show. Good night. I took my granddad, who famously was in his own little skiffle band in the 60s, but
he played the T-chest bass, didn't he?
He did, yeah. And he was an MC at like a few different clubs in the areas. I think he did some stuff at Litherland Town Hall. He might correct me for this, but he famously introduced the Quarrymen on stage one night before they obviously went on to be the Beatles. Last night was great for him to sort of meet the girls who were in the Live Birds after it and tell them about the places, and they kept naming different venues that they'd been to. It was dead nice.
It was such a good night. And I think, let me just stick with theatre a little bit. You were otherwise engaged, but I went to the Lieutenant of Inishmore.
Yeah.
I struggle to say it.
I'm going on Saturday.
You're going Saturday?
Final night.
No spoilers, but it was cracking. And there was a cast injury 20 minutes in on the night where you went, and they had to pull the show for 45 minutes, make sure everything was all right, come up with a plan B. And the cast kind of took some of the characters' lines that was injured and spread them out between themselves.
Right, okay.
And do you know what? Actually, it kind of improved the experience in terms of we got behind them so much. Like the play is amazing anyway, and the actors are amazing. But it kind of made the audience switch on and go, let's absolutely root for him here and just support it. It's great. It's dark. It's funny.
I'd been somewhere. It was last Friday, wasn't it? And you and Jordan and Sam had gone to watch it, and I was meeting you after the show for a drink. I was somewhere during the show, and then came and met you for a drink after. And I turned up to Hope Street at 9 o'clock, and you were sitting there having a beer, and I was like, "Oh, how was the show?" And you were like, "Oh, we're going back in now."
Yeah.
And you went back in, which was totally bizarre. I was like, "What?"
Because the show's quite crazy anyway. Anyone that's seen any of his work, like in Bruges and Madonna's work, Madonna. Anyone who knows Madonna will love this show. Because it is all a bit crazy anyway. It didn't take away from the experience. If anything, it just added to the night being a bit chaotic and a bit crazy. And you'll really enjoy it. You'll really
going Saturday with Sienna. So
yeah, the cast are amazing.
No
the two that we know in it.
JB's already done a load of spoilers. So.
Oh, did he tell you about?
No, don't do it.
No, check them two things out if you're out and about this weekend and next week in town. Should be good. I wanted to also bring up that we are doing the kind of last applications for our battle. We've got quite a lot of bands already up.
Yep, so we've got the weekend to push. Anyone that wants to get their applications in over the weekend, you've got 3 days really to get your applications in. We've already had loads in, but get them in before the deadline closes, and try and get yourself in with a chance of winning £1,000. And there's so many. I think it's grown. It's been a lot more exciting in terms of actually on the night event stuff now, isn't there? Is there details you can release?
Yeah. So last year we did it where it was a certain percentage were online votes before the actual gig. Yeah. A certain percentage were digital in-house votes. This year we've reached out to loads of different musicians and organisations and mentors around the city. And Faye and Cody are on placement with us from Lipper doing events management. And they've come up with a really good idea of, look, we'll reach out to people. Then the voting system can slightly alter, and we think it'll make it a little bit more interesting. So you're going to have, percentage-wise might be a bit off, but 25% of your vote is going to be like online. So how you push yourself on your socials and how you reach out to people and tell them what you're doing. Yeah. And we just want to see a little bit of that kind of modern marketing side of things. Isn't it? 50% is going to be balloted physical tick box
right, okay. So
in the venues. People turn up, we'll give you a voting card, you can pick your favourite band.
Yep.
And then the extra 25%, we're going to get a mentor for every event, and they're going to have so we're going to ask them to kind of rank 1 to 4.
Right.
And that'll also be put into the vote.
So sort of judging system on the night.
Judging, we've kind of asked them to come on board as mentors. So actually what we found with the DJ battle, and when Girls Don't Sink came to that final night, they're, we call them judges, but actually they really acted as mentors. So they gave everybody bits of advice, they helped out, they gave them some tips and tricks, and then at the end of the night they kind of went, look, you're all great, I know we've got a winner, but why don't you all come to Creamfields on our VIP?
Yeah. Unreal.
So stuff like that I think just really boosts confidence of people. And I've never liked that judges panel thing like that. It's not about good and bad, right and wrong. It's about going, have you thought about this? Really like what you're trying to do there. If I've got any advice that I can help you with, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think it's quite important. I think we kind of missed that out last time, purely because it was the first time we'd done it.
Yep.
And we were just trying to go, look, how do we logistically put all these bands on over the space of 6-7 weeks and make it work? But we've got a bit of help this year, and we're going to kind of make it bigger and better. I think on the night, we're really looking at like an interview corner. So we're going to be getting the artists themselves, some of the contestants from other nights potentially, and some of the audience coming and chatting about who they liked, what they do. And trying to have a more an interactive element to it that can kind of supersede the night and go out online afterwards, and try and make it as interactive as we possibly can.
Cool.
There will be more prizes. I just can't remember what.
Right.
Secret prizes.
Secret prizes. 2 bottles of Pacifico from a fridge somewhere nearby.
But we'll have to go and break into our own fridge. Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. That's nice.
Yeah, it's been a day of organising and doing all that.
Yeah. I did turn up to you training someone on a line clean, and then into your meetings with Faye about your battle.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
Lily did very well, line clean wise.
Well done,
Well done, Lily. That's the other side in it, that all the practical stuff that goes on in the daytime.
Yeah.
I don't think we shout out the staff enough, but we're trying to teach everyone a bit of everything.
Upskill everyone into learning more about running venues. And yeah, you don't see that side before the doors open where Tom's running from the cellar to the bar, cleaning the lines of the beer so it tastes nice when everyone comes in, and every Thursday morning. But yeah, and then training people to do those things, and actually doing a line clean is quite a skilled thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
People, is it going to be a really boring segment of a
Possibly terribly boring.
But let's just explain it.
So
Why'd you do it?
yeast builds up in the lines because it's in the beer.
Yeah.
And if you get too much, it's not bad for you if in small amounts. If you get too much of it and you don't clean it, it can start to taste nasty and then start to upset your tummy. So what we do is we put a cleaning fluid through the lines every week, and that dissolves the yeast, and then you flush it away with water. So when you bring your beer through, they're all fresh and clean.
Look at that. You don't know that though, do you? You don't go into a bar and go, oh, what's he been doing this morning?
We've all had them pints from bars that don't clean their lines.
And that's where, and you'll know it. You'll know the taste.
Stinky.
Yeah.
Stinky.
My brother's got this thing where he'll go in. For years, he always did it where he'd go in and he scans the room. So if he looks around the room and there's like, say, everyone's drinking Carlin, and then put the pumps on, say,
like Stella or something.
What the other beers that are on, he's like, well, everyone's drinking them, so they've just sat in the line for ages.
Yeah, that is a big thing because when it comes from the barrel, there's about 3 pints worth of beer.
Yeah.
In the travel up to where it comes out. So if it's not sold for a couple of days, you get away with it overnight because it's all the lines are coated in like. But if it's been a couple of days and maybe that beer isn't that popular in that pub for whatever reason, it can have a little bit of it can kind of go not very nice.
Twang to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think people understand that.
I think people will have switched off by now. So we can say what we want now.
But like we're being honest about what happens behind the scenes of a bar. So if you go into bars and you go, oh, this is a bit of a funny taste, now you know because you listen to our podcast, and you probably will scan the room and go, what's everyone drinking? Yeah. I'll get one of them.
Our biggest sellers are the Arts Bar Lager is always flying out.
Yeah.
Guinness is always flying out, and Mal's always flying out.
Yeah.
Now everything.
They're 3 completely different products.
Yeah, yeah.
High end product, low end product, and your Guinness.
Yeah.
So cheap one and an expensive one.
And a kind of staple.
Yeah.
To be honest, we're quite lucky. We don't have as many lines as quite a lot of the pubs do nowadays. A lot of people have gone for quite a lot. We've stuck to 7 or 8 and just kind of keep it as consistent as we possibly can.
I went to Monroe last night and they had a lot of cask.
Yeah.
But you see, so I feel like in a lot of pubs in the city, you're seeing sort of like a wipe out a cask. And you only sort of got it in your specific places that you knew, I'm going there for cask. But the new way they've done the bar in the Monroe, it's literally like the full run of and it's a long bar in there. But there's a lot of cask. Yeah. As Cilla Black would say. A Laura cask.
We tried cask. We had cask pumps when we first opened, and
God, this is boring, isn't it?
It is boring. And it just didn't sell very well. So
and what happens when you don't sell a lot of cask, Wilson?
So casked ale goes off a hell of a lot quicker than kegged ale. So we were pouring quite a lot of it away when we started, because we can't serve bad pints either. That's not fair.
No.
So if it was even on the turn, slightly starting to go a little bit off, it would go straight away.
That is your forte, isn't it?
It was, yeah. I did it for a long time at the Philharmonic. I did it for Ian when we opened Mar Boyles. I found it dead interesting, and then, as you say, I think it is making a resurgence. But I think 5 years ago, it kind of started.
I feel like there was a point where it was like, I don't know whether COVID's a factor in that.
Possibly. I always used to think that because it's the only thing you can't get at home.
Yeah.
So lager, as much as it's great, it's essentially the same thing. Whether
you can get bottled that cask.
Bottled cask, but it's not cask conditioned, so it's not kind of technically still alive. It's been sterilised.
Right.
So when it's in a cask, it's still like a living, breathing product. Because you aerate it and you've got to kind of sell it with it. That's why you've got to set. It's like food. It's got a shelf life. But that's also why it's Tasty.
Listen. This might be our most interesting podcast yet. Factual about cask ale and line cleans.
Well, let's absolutely hit him with a whammy then. What did the staff do the other day, training wise? Where did they go?
Crosby Coffee. That was cool.
Our good friends at.
That was cool. We sent the team to Crosby Coffee for a bit of training, and they all come back absolutely loving it.
Yeah, buzzing, weren't they?
I was amazed at how much information they took in and how interested they were. So hats off to you guys at Crosby Coffee, because you kept them engaged, kept them going, and then they've come back and give us a load of abuse about where things need to be and at what height and what temperature and
scales.
And they're coffee wizards now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Telling me about the contrast and different things like that. You know what was really interesting about that? It was about this, get the scales out, because you have to get the correct grammage of coffee. Because if you put too much coffee in, then it's acidic, or it's either or. So too little, it's too sweet, or something like that, and so it changes the taste based on how much coffee you've got in, and then how hard you press the coffee into the machine. That changes it, because obviously it's about how much the water can get through.
Yeah,
it changes the taste.
Yeah.
God, this is the most boring podcast anyone will ever listen to.
About so many different things.
Yeah. Class.
So now the Joker 2.
God. I nearly went to see that the other night, but Sienna was thrown by the poor reviews.
It's a marketing thing. I reckon it's good.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
It's got like the worst rating on Rotten Tomatoes of any new film in like the last 10 years, I think, you know.
Maybe it's not good.
It's got like a really, really bad review. I mean, we won't know till we see it. Don't judge a book by its cover or a film by its review.
It should. I mean, the cover
looks great.
Joaquin and Gaga.
Yeah.
And Batman. Oh, not much Batman, but you know, that vibe.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the Penguin.
I've not watched that.
Well, I haven't watched it yet, but Colin Farrell playing the Penguin doesn't look anything like him.
Is that a TV show or
TV show? So he was in that film that they filmed in Liverpool, the new Batman, like Robert Pattinson era thing. And then they've done a spin-off, like high glossy Penguin series. Bit of a gangster.
Not watched it.
I think they've tried to make it Sopranos, but that's a tough ask, innit?
Love The Sopranos.
I know.
Just comment if you like The Sopranos.
Have we done anything that's not boring?
No, this is the bit. Can you think of anything else that's proper boring that people might want to know?
Maybe this is when the podcast starts to soar, when we start doing proper boring stuff.
Would you tune into a podcast that was just like purposefully boring? Why don't you tell them about renovating glassware?
We could. I really don't want to talk about that. We could talk about consumable orders and par levels if you want.
Yeah, go on.
I don't want to talk about that.
So where you order your straws and your napkins, your bev naps.
Yeah. Your juice
Your little
pours.
straws, your big straws, your plastic containers. All from the same place.
Your beer mats, your drip trays, your bog roll holders.
Your blue roll.
Your blue roll, your white roll, if you want white roll.
Your beer mats.
What's white roll for?
It's just, I think it's a cheaper version of blue roll, but
Why is it blue?
I don't know.
If anyone knows why blue roll's blue.
My God, this is dreadful. This is dreadful.
No, it's quality, man. It's quality.
Dreadful. What have we got coming up over the weekend?
So we've got quite a lot of bits going on.
We've got a big event in Hope Street on Sunday.
Yes, that is the classical open mic this week.
It is on Sunday.
Sorry, I was thinking ahead to next Sunday, which we've also got a good event. It's LFM next Sunday.
It is LFM.
Yeah, so let's do that next week. But the classical open mic, very good, right. So the Arts Bar Orchestra is in full swing. They've got their first full orchestral rehearsal on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they'll start to piece together some concerts for the Bridgerton concerts already sorted, and the string sections are going to well into that. But the full concerts are going to be, we're definitely doing a Christmas one. Now we think it might be up here.
Cool.
That's the plan so far.
In this room where someone's been practicing dance.
In this room where someone's been practicing ballroom dance, but that's strictly a secret.
It is strictly a secret.
And we thought to kind of launch the orchestra that we're doing orchestral open mic. So going to bring a keyboard down, so just bring your instruments and come and play. I think you don't see much classical music in in bars. It's usually in concert halls or chambers. Or
Yep.
So it'd be an interesting experiment. I think people really like. I think it'd be really interesting when we've done bits in the past with the universities. It's amazing to see. Your ear's not accustomed to it in this space.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be really interesting to see what turns up on Sunday, and how it works.
Cool.
If you want to get involved, just come on down, speak to Gaia when you get here, sign up, put your name down. Everybody will get a couple of tunes each, and we'll see.
Yep.
Let's make some magic.
And keep your eye on the socials for some updates on it and some videos of people playing classical music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be very interesting.
Will be.
And then we had the supper club last night. Down at the
That was cool.
Baltic, yeah. So every other Wednesday down at the Arts Bar Baltic, we have a band on at 8 o'clock, but we do some great food deals. So it's 2 of our big stack sandwiches and either a bottle of wine or 2 cocktails for £30. So you can come down, grab some food, and then as you're finishing your meal, the band start, have a couple of drinks.
So a cool little jazz band last night called Schnaut.
And it's our lovely Joel Howley that has headed that up for us.
Yeah. And we've got a really cool supper club coming up this month, haven't we? At the end of this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a Halloween special, but it's not going to be a band. So the thing with supper club is we're going to sort of try and work our way between sort of movie screenings, film screenings, and bands. So the end of the month, if you want to get involved, there is going to be a Rocky Horror Picture Show live screening whilst you have your food and your drinks.
The sing-along version as well.
And you can sing along to Rocky Horror.
We'll get the one with the bouncy lyrics at the bottom.
And get yourself involved. Come along, have a drink.
Dress up.
Have some fun. I'd love it if people come dressed up. You might come dressed.
I will be Frankenfurter.
You absolutely love Frankenfurter, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I think you might be there as Frankenfurter. But yeah, if you want to go a little bit of a Halloween night out, I think that is the 25th maybe. It's the Wednesday of Halloween.
We'll put the details in the description.
So yeah, cool little night. I think that's getting into some film screenings and things like that. Be really exciting.
Yeah, defo. I had a bit of a conversation today with someone that this is kind of moves on to our bar talk. We haven't really been doing them. If anyone's got any questions, please write in. We've kind of not had that much coming, have we? There was basically a guy going, how do you do like your social media stuff and like where do you start? And I was like, to be honest, I think Alex, who looks after it all, has got a couple of different approaches that he takes. So I'd be interested to ask you, social media wise, it's the modern beast, isn't it? Like and it's so saturated with stuff, and you do such a good job at cutting through it and really like keeping your finger on the pulse with stuff that's happened this morning. You'll have something going out about it that night. Yeah,
I think you've got that is the point of social media. I think people get quite like it's an in the moment way of you showing what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So like actually why it's come about is your way of going, I'm on holiday. There's a picture of like on your story, here's a picture of the beach I'm on, or I'm at this gig. Here's a picture of the gig or a video of the gig that I'm at. And I think it actually gets saturated with plugs for different things and not quite relevant stuff. But I actually think people see right through it, and the more natural posts are the more successful ones. So I think that's maybe, but it takes a lot of work that rather than just a lot of businesses have it scheduled where it's like on Monday. So from a hospitality point of view, on Monday we're going to promote our starter range in the restaurant. On Tuesday we're going to do our cocktails. On Wednesday we've got live music on Friday night, so we're going to put a post out on Wednesday about the Friday night. Whereas with us, I do a little bit of what have we got coming up? I've got to make sure I'm promoting these things and use it as an advertising platform. But I think it is quite personal, our platform, and we use it to sort of promote like what is going on right now, as opposed to in 2 weeks there's this gig. And I think people quite like that it's like what's happening right now in the Arts Bar, and people can see that.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of that. I think because some people work completely the opposite way. Like some of the big establishments will have a program for 2 years.
Yeah.
We always kind of find that you don't book them tickets because it's so far away, unless it's someone like Bruce Springsteen who's playing
or
on
Oasis.
Oasis. You don't. maybe that's just us. Maybe that's a generational.
No,
thing,
I think there is. I think there's a mix, isn't there? Like there's a using it as an advertising platform for your business, and then there's using it as an actual way to just show friends what you're up to.
Yeah.
And I think actually the way we sort of use our social media platforms is less like a business sometimes and more like, oh, we want to show our mates what we've been up to. And by mates, I mean regulars and people who care about what the venues are. And I think we use it to sort of showcase that as opposed to always advertising. Where I think a lot of places can just bang deals out on it and stuff like that. And it might work for them. But
it's all different.
It's
all different, and if you get them like reviews channels, obviously the whole point of them is for you to go, how does that look and feel?
Yeah.
Does this person that I trust rate it? If they do, then I'm going to go visit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I suppose in some respects it just depends what you're trying to do, really.
Yeah. It's funny, like I don't know why, but over the past few weeks I've felt properly overwhelmed to have like paper, like have flyers or stickers or something that's like in my hands to go, right, how can we advertise this?
We went to Small Town Boy, the new coffee shop. Is it technically on Maryland Street?
I don't know, maybe.
So it's owned by the guys
I
at
don't
Free
think
State
so.
Kitchen, but as you go past Free State Kitchen, if you carry on down that road, it used to be the Coach House. They've opened up a new coffee shop.
Yeah.
And they had their design's really cool. It's kind of a little boy. It's a tiny little shop, so it's called Small Town Boy. Little boy with a croissant on his back.
Did you ask, is it a link to the song?
I didn't ask, but I have been singing it since.
Have you?
It's been stuck in my head. And they had stickers, and I was like, why haven't we got stickers? And then the National Museum's Liverpool podcast have dropped a load of beer mats off, and every episode has got a different. If it's with the Bummed Out Church, it has a really cool cartoon. And I've gone, why don't we have beer mats?
No, honestly, I've had this like overwhelming feeling the past few weeks of that we need physical in your hand. I don't know why. I don't know whether that's something that people will like, that will resonate with people, but that I've literally been sitting trying to design flyers or stickers or cards and being like, especially all the different events, so like Supper Club, the quiz, Monday night's house party, the open mic. So like, what cards can I get made where people can see what's on? And even if it's got a QR code that makes them go to further information.
Yeah.
But I think people want physical things
stuff
again. I was talking to a guy at a wedding a year ago, and he works at Domino's in marketing. And I was talking to him about I was like, Domino's marketing is genius, isn't it? Like everyone knows Domino's pizza for one, but I was like talking to him about the paper. I said, every time I open my letterbox, there's a menu in the letterbox. There's always a Domino's, and it's got deals on it, and people go like, oh, I'll get the deals. And then the delivery drivers, the logos on the bag. So like, say you got in from work and someone's getting one delivered, you can see it. You're like, not like Deliveroo or Uber, it's not on those platforms.
Yeah, it's its own entity.
You see the logo turn up, so people go like, oh, I'm going to get a Domino's tonight. It's not like a Just Eat or Deliveroo. But I was talking to him loads about the paper menus, and he said I think either the CEO or the owner, they tried to stop paper years ago, and we're like, we're not going to do any paper marketing anymore. And he was like, no, that is our thing. And I think it was something about it going back to being when you were a kid and it was a Friday night and you wanted to get a takeaway.
You had a drawer with them all in. Yeah.
It was about having that pizza menu in the drawer. And it was like, we'll never get rid of that paper menu thing.
It's interesting.
It is. But that's what they're famous for, isn't it? You know, if you open your letterbox, obviously I live in a flat, so it's everyone's letterbox next to each other.
See it sticking out.
But they're in like everyone's letterbox.
Yeah. We, in terms of like stuff to give out, all the staff were asking for those key rings that we did the other night.
Cool.
So my boy Anthony 3D prints us these key rings with NFTs in. NFT? Basically, you can hold your phone to it and it sends you a link straight away to one of our Instagrams.
Yeah.
They went down really well at the Freshers Fairs, but we should probably get a few more and give them out. It just means that people have got it on the keys all the time, and they've all gone.
Oh, well. I haven't even got one.
Many students around this city have them on their keys.
Unreal. Class, what are you doing now? What are you doing tonight?
Nothing. I'm going to Ireland in the morning.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm going on tour with Motel Sundown for a couple of nights. We've got Omagh tomorrow night, Belfast, possibly Dublin, and then going to fly back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Busy weekend.
Should be fun. What about you?
I'm going to the theatre Saturday night.
You are.
See some family. Reset. Back to work Monday.
Nice. Well, I'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
All right.
Enjoy yourself, pal.
Thanks, mate.